What is up team, Fraser here and welcome to my latest Battlefield 1 video. Today we're going to have a quick discussion over the latest changes introduced by the Giants Shadow patch and some first impressions of the newly released map. Giants Shadow is the latest Battlefield 1 patch that releases a new free map for all players on the 20th of December. Not only does it include the new map, but it brings a whole host of changes to the game, which will be briefly discussed shortly. But first, let's touch on the new map, Giants Shadow. This map represents the Battle of the Cell that took place in 1918. The map features a crashed blimp that houses the two main points in the centre of the map. A railway further intersects all points, allowing the armoured train behemoth to be spawned on the losing side. After playing the map for a few hours, my first impressions are hugely positive. One of the big things I like about the map is that there seems to be a distinct front line, so to speak, where the brunt of the combat takes place. There's very little chasing your tail in terms of objectives being backcapped as there are in other Conquest maps, as almost all of the combat is focused in one spot of the map. This led to one prolonged, intense battle taking place between the opposing teams, compared to smaller, scattered engagements. Because of the centralised fighting, sniping definitely seems like a more viable option for squad play. Traditionally in Battlefield 1, I've found sniper players to be more or less lone wolves, getting a high KD ratio, but doing very little for the team in terms of capping and score. There are of course exceptions, but snipers more or less seem in it for the kills. At brief glance, Giant Shadow allows snipers to take on a more useful role for the team. I frequently witness snipers taking up useful positions, eliminating and distracting enemy snipers, or suppressing enemy soldiers while allowing their team to move up on the offensive, thus allowing them to have more impact on the game. Tanks also seem to feature heavily in successful pushes. Quite often there would be a balanced skirmish in the centre of the map near the downed blimp. A tank or two had a huge impact in breaking through enemy lines and allowing a successful push if supported correctly by infantry. In terms of the other changes the patch introduces, these range from new features such as spectator mode and the new custom game standard issue rifles, to much needed tweaks to existing glitches in vehicles. One of the most important changes vehicle-wise is fixing the bug where you would spawn without a vehicle or spawn with the incorrect kit with your vehicle. The patch seeks to fix both of these issues, but whether it fully removes the issue or not is yet to be seen, as I still experienced this once on the new map, spawning without a horse with the cavalry class. Fighter planes have received a buff to their stats, with more powerful machine guns and a speed boost to rockets for the airship buster variant. Bombers also take more fire from machine guns, making fighters a more viable option to remove those insane bomber pilots that can rank up a heap of kills without dying during the whole game. All rear gunners have also had their damage nerfed, meaning it's harder for players to destroy pursuing fighters or switch to the rear gun if piloting an airplane one-up and hose down any pursuing threat. Land ships have had arguably the greatest change in the patch, receiving a heap of buffs. This is great news, as I've always been a huge fan of the land ship due to the necessity of squad work to make them a viable weapon. The driver abilities have been buffed, teammates can now spawn direct into the tank, and armour has been buffed, making it just as strong as the heavy tank. In terms of specific changes for the land ship, the Tank Hunter variant tank goer has had its damage increased, land ship mortars have a greater range and 2 additional rear machine gun seats, and the squad support land ship main gun fires a heavier 20mm cannon instead of a light machine gun, and has a greater track repair health buff for its countermeasure. The final thing we will cover is one of the new gadgets included for the support class, the grenade crossbow. The grenade crossbow takes up one of the 2 gadget slots for the support class and comes in the high explosive or fragmentation varieties. This gives players the ability to fire grenades over a moderate distance. In terms of the usefulness of the gadget, I think it's pretty limited. Firstly, it takes up a support slot that could be better suited to an ammo crate, a mortar, or a repair tool. It isn't justified to select the crossbow over one of these more useful gadgets when all players can already select frag grenades as a throwing grenade, and Assault have far more powerful anti-vehicle weaponry over the high explosive grenade variant. A far greater range of specific changes are included in the full patch notes linked in the description below. The aforementioned ones I've just discussed I feel are the bigger changes that the Giants Shadow patch introduces. If you found this video useful, informative, entertaining, or simply in a good mood, please like the video and subscribe to my channel ScrubPlays for more Battlefield linked on your screen right now. Cheers team, have a good one.